foot long in size. Then another whale sharks are found 2 dead bodies of whale sharks in fishing nets along the coastal area of Yifu Township. These are also from the Tenenai region on 13 May of 2017 and tugged them to the fisher village. The fishermen could not free them in the sea and just tugged them to the beach. It had found 4 dead whale sharks from April to May within 2 months of 2017. So as they couldn't swim back to the deep sea after they arrived in shallow water, all 4 sharks found had a size between 15 and 20 feet larger. One of them was found when it washed ashore on the beach, while the rest 3 are died in the fishing nets. That's why I want to say, are whale shark hunting or wash ashore? So on a positive note, the whale shark found at Mui Sound from the AFD Delta region was safe and sound, and it has found the way back to the natural wildlife in January of this year by the aid of local fishers. So are whale sharks under threats? Whale sharks and all sharks face a variety of impacts in the ocean, such as pollution, human impacts, and habitat loss at the area that have no marine spatial planning program in the concerning water area. As they swim are very slow, the normal swim speed of whale shark have only 3 mph. Although they swim very slow, they like to move on the surface of the sea, so they are easily caught by people and also can weather accidental injuries caused by boat or ship collisions and can entangle in the fishing nets, which have a great impact on whale sharks in the surface water. Grow slow, mature late, and bear few young, long pregnancy, and may not reproduce every year. All of these make them vulnerable to human threats. Excuse me. That's why sadly sharks are now one of the most threatening animals in all the oceans. We need to take action to help them before it's too late, I think. So conservation in Myanmar, conservation activities of sharks in Myanmar. In Myanmar since 2004, the Department of Fisheries issued the order number 2/2004 regarding shark resources conservation on 5th May of 2004. The Department of Fisheries determined to create protected areas for shark fishing under the following purpose. Here is a shark protected area.
선생님, 저 이주수입니다. 선생님, 제가 지금 국제 회의 중이라서 못 받았는데요. 네, 나중에 끝나고 전화 드릴게요.
This is the shark protected area 1, started from Dome, Palais, to Lambi Island Marine National Park. Dongjo is here. This is a new protected area proposed to the government. And this is the shark protected area 2 from Protect 2 in the Lambi Island Marine National Park of Myanmar. So to protect shark and whale sharks, we need to aware the local people to understand economic benefits of sharks and whale sharks. That's why instead of hunting, they should participate in shark diving, whale shark watching, whale watching, coral reef watching, etc. in the tourism month in our country, which can increase their income for the livelihood. And this is the whale shark of the Nenai region, Myeik archipelago. It's the best of Myanmar scuba diving sites. One of the main reasons for scuba diving in Myanmar is to sample the incredible variety of pelagic species that can be seen throughout the entire dive season, including whale shark. And to protect all the marine creatures, we need to aware the local people to understand, to reduce the following environmental challenges in our water area. And that's why in 2017, we start to introduce marine spatial planning in our country, and we did a lot of research on that. In this picture, in this first picture, before we used marine spatial planning, and this picture is after we used marine spatial planning in our water area. We have separate mangrove forests, separate fishing zones, separate shipway and ecosystem, so that we got a lot of benefit on this. So not only MSP, we need to create more no-take zone, no-fish zone, MPAs along the coastal areas of Myanmar. That's why in 2011, we conduct consultation meeting for marine protected area in our country. Here is the new proposed marine protected area in southern coast of Myanmar. As a conclusion, in order to ensure the sustainable development of the coastal areas and conserve them, including whale shark, for future generation, we should put more efforts into biodiversity conservation and create many MPAs in our coastal region. This could also potentially result in more resources being available for coastal areas, which can be achieved by involving the population of coastal areas in management and sustainable development process by integrated coastal zone management, ICM. To achieve this goal, we must promote education awareness and increase the involvement of local communities in management and sustainable development programs for the future of marine protected areas and integrated coastal zone management in all coastal areas by using marine spatial planning or marine coastal spatial planning tools to cover or to prevent our resources in our country. Thank you, and happy to meet you all.
Thank you, Dr. Han. It has been fascinating to listen to you, and you've finished in 13 minutes and 53 seconds.
Oh, yes.
I have a stopwatch here.
Yes, thank you.
It's been fascinating to know that there are species which live up to 400 years. And therefore, it's very important to understand their longevity is based on what, and what is the science and technology behind it. Thank you very much for a very illuminating talk. And now I'll request
thank you, Chairman.
Dr. Nishu Kumar to make his presentation. I think his is the theoretical piece, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I thought so. It will be good to spar with you.
Yes. Is
it visible, sir?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. Firstly, good morning, all of you. Firstly, thanks to ICSSR committee who provide me a big platform and give opportunity for this presentation. Myself, Dr. Anamika Chauhan, and with the Dr. Nishu Kumar. My topic is a study on social construction, technology perception. First is, what is the social? Human, like other social species, live in community that interact, whether or not they are aware of it, and whether or not the transaction is voluntary or involuntary. This encounter is called social. And now come next question: what is society? Actually, a society is a grouping of individuals which is characterized by common interest and may have a distinctive culture and institution. A society may refer to a particular ethical group, such as a nation state. An organized group of people associate together for religious, culture, scientific, political, patriotic, or other purpose may also be considered a society. Next is what is the technology? First come on the mind when hear this phrase technology, it may sound like something out of a science fiction, fiction movies or something that require electricity to function. Technology trained to make human think of a extremely
Sorry to
complex.
interrupt, Dr. Anamika. Do you have any presentation to share?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kindly share your screen so that it is visible to all the participants.
I shared.
But it is not visible.
Oh, now it's visible.
Yeah, now it is visible.
Okay,
I
okay.
would request you to bring it in the presentation mode.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, thank you.
Just put it on presentation mode.
Now it is on presentation mode, Dr. Nitin.
Is it okay, sir?
Yes, I'm seeing what is technology. That's the
Yes,
thing.
yes, sir. Okay,
mean,
thank you.
Can you put
Can
it the full
I
screen?
start? Can I again start?
No,
or
you can put
continue
it
it
on
The time to restart now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
you go from where you're now going to talk, what you're going to talk.
Okay,
That
sir.
is what is technology. Am I right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Then.
Firstly, comes the mind where the face the technology.
Ma'am,
It means
excuse me, ma'am, can you put it in the full screen mode? I mean, in the presenter mode, presentation mode. Yeah, the next one.
Oh.
now. Okay.
No,
Is
ma'am.
it okay, sir?
Still not okay. It's not. Anyway, we can see it.
You
I
can
can
continue.
read it. Don't dabble with it. It might go off the screen then.
Don't know what's going on.
Ma'am, you
Anamika,
can carry on.
I think you go ahead as it is, and we can see that.
Okay,
Can you?
sir. Okay,
From
sir,
what
thank
is
you.
technology, you can jump to the
Okay.
next one
Okay,
whenever
sir.
you want.
Technology is an application of scientific knowledge to practical end, whether is industry or in our daily life. So in human apply their scientific knowledge of a specific goal, human beings are essentially using it to achieve the goal. Next, meaning of social construction. In everyday language is constructed is something that people have built, such as a house. In philosophy, constructed is something that exists in people's mind and does not necessarily corresponds to anything in the real world. Similarly, social construct are sets of ideas that come about through social interaction. They are not
Anamika, you have not jumped to the
Please
next
move
slide.
to next.
You have to go to the next slide.
Yes, sir. I'm next.
It is
Meaning of
still
a
stuck
social
at what is
construction.
technology.
No, sir. God, don't know what's going. Now?
Meaning of social construction.
Yeah,
Quite
yes,
right.
sir. Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Now
sir,
go
but
ahead.
Sorry for this, sir. Okay. Now, the similar social constructs are sets of ideas and come about through social interaction. They are not naturally, they are the result of the human effort and human imagination. For instance, many of the attributes the people use to categorize each other, and like race, gender, class, and sexuality are not naturally occurring. They are social constructs that have developed over time. For example, the notion that pink is for girl and blue is for boy is a social construct based on gender and object color. The general consists that a certain color is linked with a particular gender. It is not an objective representation of truth or fact. Rather, it is a social convention that has gained significance in the framework of society. Next is definition of social construction of technology. Social construction of technology is a theory within the field of science and technology studies. Advocate the Scott that is a social constructive, argue that technology does not determine human action, but that rather human actions shape technology. Scott view the development of technology as an interactive process or discourse among technologies or engineers is equivalent social groups. Now, the origin of the Scott. In the 1984, Bisker and Pins introduced the social construction of technology. Their study titles the social construction of fact and artifacts, or how the sociology of science and the sociology of technology might benefit each other. Establish the thesis and provide events to back it up. The article uncovered processes that link the social and technical world. Next is the importance of the social construction of technology. Social construction provide a framework for understanding the constructed world that people inhabit, useful for understanding social behavior, while postmodernism does not provide such a framework. The wheel, the printing press, the bicycle, the assembly line, and the computer are all examples of technologies or innovation that change and organize the world and our lives also. Individuals, people, like everyone, decide whether technologies or element of technologies are useful, profitable, and comfortable. Significant groups collection the people for each with its own set of the characteristics and a stake in the technologies. Scientists, technicians, economics, legislature, entrepreneurs, and even common men are among the relevant group or stakeholder. The innovations are interpreted differently by stakeholder. One innovation could be a solution, but it could also be a flaw. The invention will be fail if social group or stakeholder will not buy in if the bug or problem is their remedies. Now the example of social construct. So first is society. A society is a system that allow people in a region to get along in productive and peaceful cooperation. Next is law. The law and regulation of nations, cities, and international agreements also create a social construct. Next is economics. Economics such as economic system, regulation, market, business models, and production method also create a social construct. Next is language. Language such as a binder, which bind a social group. Next, concept are also mostly the type link is the language, but can also exist a visual. For example, the concept of civility and associate constructed. Next is culture. A culture, traditional culture of a nation, of a people, and other type of culture, such a subculture, superculture, and organization culture, also a social construct. Literature and entertainment also built on the top language and culture such as a socially constructed. Example of Scott. One of the example of how social force shapes technology is travel pins theory. It is the based on his theories, the analysis of development of the modern cycle. As many people know, the bicycle changed substantially during the 19th century. The unwindly penny friendly bicycle eventually gave way to the more familiar chain drivable tire device that we still use today. Now to come on my theory. My topic I earlier tell. My purpose was study to find out the relation between social group and social construction technologies. Methodology was the questionnaire was developed to get data, information about knowledge and awareness. In this questionnaire, we took some questions like, are you use the social construction technology? Are you familiar with social construction technology? Which color, what your opinion about color, which is more acceptable woman and for men, etc. My sample was the 90 And in this selected from different occupation like teacher, doctor, office person also. Now the result, after getting response, we found that 66.6% teachers were aware, but 34.4% were not aware about social construction technology. Doctors were 50% not aware about this, and 43.4% office person were not aware about social construction theory, but they used, unknowingly used. It is the result. Now the finding the table, I earlier told 66 point teachers were known in social construction technology. Now the conclusion, technology does not determine human action, but then rather human action shape technology. The way a technology is used cannot be understood without understanding how the technology is embedded it in its social context. Scott is a helpful approach for understanding the innovation of particular aspect. We can use it as a starting point for exploring longer-term technological issues by identifying meta categories of relevant social group. Scott model is also methodology. It's formalize the step and principle to follow when one want to analyze the causes of technology failure or success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anamika. I think you have finished in less than 13 minutes, and I'm very pleased with it. The only question that you may be asked while you are proceeding further is to differentiate between the term called methods and methodologies.
Sir, method, sir.
I'm just making a remark. It's for you to consider.
Sir,
What you have devised here are a set of detailed methods that you have employed. Data, what you call this thing. Methodology is a totally different philosophy altogether.
Sir,
your methodology will be different than any other methodology related to other discipline.
Yeah.
So if you enrich your what you call presentation on that thing, it's only my advice, it will become much more robust than what it is today. And
thank you so much. Thanks for your advice, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We move on to the next what you call presenter. That is.
How can you stop this here?
Sorry? Or you can just stop it. No, you just have to stop that. There's a button on top which says cross, and you put that there, and it don't. If you do go on the right, you'll leave the complete thing.
Ma'am, go to Zoom and stop. Click on stop.
Go to Zoom and start. That's it. And otherwise I'm stuck with you. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Now may I request Dr. Somasundaram from the Government College to make his presentation. Is he here?
Yeah, he's here. Sadiq, can you please share the presentation?
Yes.
It's Vikram, is that right?
Yeah, 1 second, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
It's visible. Audio and video both are correct, I think.
Yes. You are a mathematician, am I right?
Yes. Basically, I'm a mathematician.
Okay.
Good morning to chair as well as my co-participants of this session.
Okay.
First, I congratulate and appreciate our ICSR who has taken a very high initiative to conduct the Asian Council of Science as 21. I hope to be also the part of it. I'm very thankful as well as happy to be Indian, proud of it to join in this session. So my topic I have taken the 21st Science Council of Asian Conference, which is led by our ICSSR team and chairman of the ICSSR, as well as the president and the vice president of that SEA. So you go to next slide, please. You go to introduction. Next, yeah. I have taken this, a thought to deliver in the session, the institution of education for social and economic development, the shortly IEFS and the ED in India. So I studied and learned, as well as observed the as an Indian, as well living in the India. So the basic role of education to the society is playing a major role to give a production. That is my main contention of this session. So what I understood and I want to disseminate. So yeah, transparency and governance is act together with in a platform very fair and transparent, so that this can be the productivity can be achieved. So the GDP of the country will be leads to the higher, so that the education will be the basic support through your technology changes in the human society. That is my. You go to the next. Yeah. So this the world renowned politician as a leader, Nelson Mandela said, the education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This is no one can deny, everyone will accept. Because the education, why every country, every state, every district, every village, every taluk, why everybody are behind the education is to change the world. The changing world is nothing, not the changing only the what is it called human generation. It is changing the transition of the technology from the education to the technology changes, so that every country will progressively give the output of the production, so that the sustainability of the people will be met out. Please go. Please go next. Okay. The introduction I have taken a few points. That is, this should be brought up. The education is the most warranted dynamic factor for socio-economic development, which demands every citizen of India. The India socio-economic developments are iron-willed under the governance of three parameters: the political, judiciary, and administrative mechanism. Though I view this subject of context, education is a main and very important factor for the society to develop everyone. That means every citizen, also the country. Every citizen join together will become a society. Society will lead to the country. That is everybody knows. But whereas this every citizen and the society has been controlled by the parameters of political system, as well as the judiciary system, also the administrative mechanism. Whereas these are the three parameters are leading factors which control the everyone of the India, so that you go for doing good or bad things. If everything transparent and the transition of the technology is good without any obstruction, the right direction, the things of the three parameters doing the good, so that the political, judiciary, administrative mechanism has to act together to leading to the point of a successive of a country. That I want to defend it. I have given that word. In this, I want the political, about the political, shortly I have told because the time constraint. The politics of India playing a vital role in higher education. As such, higher education institutions are coupled with the social, political, and economic implications of our country. So rightly, you know that the ICSR, all these other bodies, government bodies and non-government bodies are also doing the same such kind of implications to improve accordingly. These institutions provide a social and human development through a transformation of social and technological changes. This is the main objective of everyone of the country, right from the administrative and the political and the judicial system, to implement to the among the people to get through the transformations of social technological changes. That is, no doubt everyone needs, or every country also needs. So in that, the country has decided a policy as well as a technology methodology as designed through the universities, school, basic school, secondary school, high school, and universities. There, all three parallel, all the hierarchy, then vertical level system of higher education, up to the school education, that is, everybody can read and write, everybody can do their basic communication they can do. When it comes to the higher education, it is a very important aspect. You think a man has to change the knowing things to the unknowing towards unknowing. That is what we call the change of signs. The change of signs will take a place to engineering. That engineering will lead to the technology. So the technology will defend the country of progress. So rightly everybody knows, our chairperson also, sir also knows, which country is leading to the technological changes in higher end will lead in the world. That is the reason where we are having lot of establishment to education, lot of institutions, lot of academicians, lot of technological, lot of industries, lot of scientific research. Whereas how we are moving vertical system to above the other countries as well as above the known concept to the unknown, which will be the cause of new technologies. So, for example, I want to give one citation. It may be the small. When we have bicycle, that has leads to the bike, then leads to the bus, then it has gone to the air bus. Now we have satellite, everything. So how the change of known things has been taken to consideration, science, then developed. Such education is mandatory so that these people, social science will be developed to the self-sustainability, as well as the country will use the good GDP, as well as the requirement education. Or every year what we are starting the institutions and the education will will support the country to move towards their progress in economical and social development. Please go to the next. Next. Okay. So I confess a little bit finding of the, therefore fundamental duties recognized by Article 15 includes for developing the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. Strive for excellences to all the sphere of individual and the collective activity to drive the nation to rise the higher levels of endeavor and achievement. As such, none can be achieved anything or ensured the development except the means of education. So I want to convey the view of it. Education is a very fundamental to everyone that can improve the everything that it has given in the rights of the fundamental of the rights as well as the constitution. So Constitution of India also is one of the major factors to be transparent and to give an opportunity to those who are finding new things and everything. That also I want to implicate, because this parallel system of administration, you have not every individual is controlled by rights, justice, political, and administration. This every person, every organization, every society, that is a collectively that we call it as a government. Okay. Then it is a well accepted, it is a well justified that justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity and can drive the force of the protection, social, economic, and political. The judiciary of India has rightly enforced. Excuse me. Education is a national wealth which must be distributed equally and widely for creating an egalitarian society, also for the country to face global competition to progress of socio-economic development. This is what today in the session. Tireless striving, strengthening its arms towards perfection would not be successful unless strengthened by education. Please go, strengthened by education. Please go next. Okay, let it be. So coming to the administrative part of the government's administrative mechanism and its policies for the education may play a vital role in promoting higher education. As rightly already I told in the very beginning, The higher education is entirely it is a unique support of technology for the changes. The other education, the school and other basic education may have the communication, the other, environmental change, political changes, environmental, social changes. But the higher education will have endeavor to all over the world, so that the new things will be finded out, that will be stand for the country. That was the main motive behind my talk. In view to review the government focus to promote the higher education, as of the economic and social planning, in which the government of India has constitutional responsibility for economic and social development of the country as a whole. Also for economic and social development is closely connected with education. So here I want to contend, very rightly, if I want to give a good education in new engineering, new technology, in new science, which is where the needs are required for the society. If I give it a correct, systematic and innovative way of education to everyone in the right, in the way of platform, if the education itself will take the country to the lead in the technology changes, as such the country will sustain to uphold in the world. Education will help very greatly in creating, establishing a social order based on the government's aptitude and skill. Whereas this education is supposed to be given with skill development of an individual. That means the resource should be converted to skilled manner, so that will be a very progress and very useful to the society. Please go next. Sir, what is the time for me? Another.
You have another 5-6 minutes.
Oh, okay, then please go this conclusion part.
No, go ahead. There is time. I'll tell you when to stop.
Oh, okay. Please go, sir. Please, next. Next slide. Okay. No, please go back. That in view of the above statement, in order to upgrade the young minds, the administrative process should be stimulated in post-secondary education, which needs to prepare a graduate with a new skills, a broad knowledge base, and a wide range of competencies to enter in more complex and interdependent world by governing its higher education to increase productivity, achieve social and national integration, accelerate the process of modernization and cultivate social status quo in the society. This is in just, so in order to develop the young, resources, rightly I can tell, the resources start from after 25 to 50. These are the people really, they will learn the subject or they'll learn the scientific advancements, they get into the society to service. So they have to try the mode of application during the period of 25 to 50. That is, afterwards, the very senior level will be control mechanism will be that, whereas the resource mobilization will be higher order during this period of the society. So such people should have more, should be given more, support from the government as well as other support, so that they will do the needful changing the resources. Such that things will governing a higher education to increase productivity, achieve goal and national integration, accelerate the process of modernization, and cultivate social status quo. One end of the society should come up with the maintain the status quo in support of the country should develop it. That is where I want to convey it. Please, next. Please go to next. No. The objective I will take, I will shortly take 1 or 2 slides, then I will go to the conclusion. Objective is already I will explain the very beginning. The higher education is the main motto. I have taken it. The higher education should be established such a way that should give a changing the world or changing the science, changing the technology, changing the engineering in the course. So that will be the change of our country. So that is the universities, central universities and the state universities and the premier institute, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 institute, IIT, IES and the IAC and all those. These have been categorized by Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 to establish different categories of work according to the potentiality, where the young minds in higher order and the other order, so that the support system in hierarchy it will move. So some Tier 2 institute also may do a good thing that will be taken to the Tier 1 as well as the government in other platforms, that are platform 1, 2, 3. For that, the technology also is application human productivity for economic sustainability in order to play a very crucial role securing economic and social progress. Please go next. So in short, I once again register that the Indian economy depends on higher education and to directly correlate in terms of certainly the policymakers and the government have to understand the failings and the weakness and the deliberate measures to be ensured for knowledge economy. Transition regression model of education leads to socio-economic. That I will commit. There we are having economical system, then socio-economic development, then technological development. What I mean to convey it, the change of education should support the technological changes. That means the socially economically is taken care of it, that the country is technologically developing, so that the GDP growth rate of the GDP in all industries, scientific, the other aspects of the nation also taking a place. But I want to convey it, the exploiting international approaches, science and technology, and the input of the education should travel in linear mode. Actually, you would have studied that our heterogeneous mode of education, that is, for example, 2015 to 16, that was 407, that is, institution was there. Then it has been increased by 131. Immediately, that higher order universities, institution, everything by this is AIEFS survey says. So we are increasing the institutions. Why that increasing institution of the education, change of education, we are giving it, why it is not supporting the output of the society? This is my question. Sir also knows, this chairperson also. This is also thought, and I am coming back. Please go to next. As a matter of fact, for the peaceful living of human society in administrative domain, it has been democratic generally village policy, that is administrative policies. But I want to convey it. This has been administered by our President of India and Prime Minister of India and the Chief Minister and every administrative authority. It is a very simple. Our parallel system of administration is constituted by one by elected mechanism, one is by official mechanism by selection. This what is it called elected mechanism by elected by the democratic people. This both parallelly they have to join the people and have to support the social economical system by giving a education in transparent and good governance, so as to meet the country needs. Where it is lacking, why the technologies we are behind, what are the new technologies coming up on comparative study, as well as taking a local study of our country, try to sustain ourselves the technology so that it will meet out our economical status growth more, so that every input of education will lead to the output of the GDP in parallel mode, that means linear mode. It should not be a heterogeneous mode. What I expect, but it is not quite possible, because if your GDP also, you may be knowing that is 8.26, 16, 6.80, it has gone even 2020 minus. This and all, from where which factor influencing, that should be brought to the study of our IGS research, as well as to support the government, so that we will have the self-sustainability over the education. So please go to the next.
Dr. Sundaram, now you can take 2 minutes to wind it up.
Okay, please go to conclusion.
Okay.
Please go to. Sir, please, conclusion first. Please move to conclusion. Okay, I am having. So I have given some data also, that is 2020 and 21, that is what are the state institutes and central institutes and the number of universities and private institutions, number nationally important institutes and all those things. Please, slides should move to conclusion part. The conclusion implicates the human research as a capital for economic development is the final goal of nation, in which the education is input together with the physical and social. According to the human development approach, HD economic resources are important only if people are finally able to convert them into something valuable by themselves in basic skills of reading, writing, professional competencies of applied knowledge, technical skills, and complex functionality as problem-solving ability, self-learning skills, etc. Instantly professional competencies increase the human capital in determining the higher productivity of income, but it has also a capacity to enlarge human freedom for gaining a better piece of social and economic status and raise the level of personal satisfaction, which determines a better quality of society in which a governments are driving the administrative mechanism, finding the implications, the innovative courses of science, engineering, and medical technologies by augmenting the resources by Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 institutions for reaching out the optimized social, economical, and technological output for nation. But the GER and GDP have no linear correlation for getting the optimized output of that. Citing the view of the above set strategies, what are the influence factors are playing a critical role in determining the technological in economical growth to sustain progressive impact of the social economic development, every individual, society, and country. Conclusively, the vision and mission of the higher education of India have a threshold for transparent governance. Also, it became a mandatory for ensuring the quality of promoting the academic institution and courses, rather quantity in which the sustainable could be attained in need, attained as need.
Are you finished?
So thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving time, sir. Because my task I have taken is critical there.
I have purposely permitted you to speak a little longer because there is a deep connect between education and technology development. Technology development.
Thank you, thank you.
And we have now got about 20 minutes to our 15 or 17 minutes. We can take some question. Nitin, can you, because I don't want to go into that question box, because the moment I go, I'll be what's called disconnected. So can you figure out that few questions which the participants can answer?
Sir, we have not received any questions so far.
Oh, fantastic. That means they have understood everything.
Everything.
There's nothing much to add. In fact, very good. I'm delighted that we have completely outwitted them, that they can't ask any questions.
Sir, I want, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I want to have one discussion with the very first person from, I think, South Korea regarding digitization.
Why not? Why not? We've got a few minutes. I think Professor Lee can join in and answer your question. You can shoot that question and he'll answer.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead with the question that you have got. Professor Lee, are you there?
I'm on audio mode only.
Okay, fantastic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So what's the question?
Please hearing. Okay. My question is Jisoon Lee. He has given the title on digital discrimination against the world in rapidly against aging society. That was a thing he has given. He specifically to the rapidly aging society. So I have a simple question with him. How did this digitalization in India and his country is giving a transition to in development of your country?
Professor Lee, is the question clear to you?
Otherwise, I will repeat, sir.
Okay, you can repeat it.
Sir, my question is the digital environment.
Yes.
In transition of technological changes for production, or how that support the country in technological changes. Both are same.
I think the sound is cutting so much that I could not even make out that what you are talking. In fact, it's very garbled, in fact.
Shall I repeat, sir?
Say
Dr.
that again,
Sundaram, I
please.
would request you to type your question in the chat box and we'll pass it to the concerned person.
Concerned
Okay,
person.
okay.
That will be
Then you
that
go
will
ahead,
be
sir. I
very
will
good.
type it in the question box. Chat box.
Well, if there are no further questions and time is also running out, it is going to be 1 o'clock very soon, in about 10 minutes, maybe less than 10 minutes time. May I therefore take the opportunity to give the concluding remarks. And whatever I have said, can you hear me?
Absolutely, sir.
Yes, sir.
And,
Sir, can I say something before you? Please.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Actually, sir, I'm from an interior college from Haridwar. And here is the 80% student of first generation who's come college. And I'm also from a small village. Sir, it's really my fortune that you give me opportunity for that. And I'm here and share is, great personality like you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You see, I was only trying to interest you to differentiate between the method and methodologies in research, which is not often understood properly. Methodology is basically critical evaluation of the content and the context of a discipline. Content and the context of a discipline in order to arrive at certain generalization, so that in due course of time, those generalization can produce universal laws in that discipline. That is methodology. Okay. Methods are the steps by which you go to methodology. That's what I was trying to tell her, that I'm not going to run a tutorial here on research methodology, but the fact is that most of us are unaware of the fine difference between methods and methodology. And the scientists are the worst culprit in it, because they think that whatever experiment they carry out and the steps that they carry out is methodology. It is not methodology, it is methods. All right. They take 20 steps for a particular experiment. Now that is methods. That does not lead to universal laws. That does not lead to correlating what you are producing and what you are observing into a unified whole. And unless you understand the difference between the two, you are stuck up in nothing but narratives and not critical analysis and critical viewpoints. You see, I often tell my young colleagues in the security studies, I said, you are not strategic analysts, you are only defense related narrators, not even defense analysts, defense narratives. You are producing narratives. And the result is that we go with a falsified notion that we are doing something fantastic in policy formulation. It is not so. It is not so. That's what I was trying to tell you, that kindly understand, if the difference between the method and methodology is clear to you as a researcher, it will be a very robust piece of paper that you will produce, which cannot be just wishy-washy off. Whereas if you don't do that, there will be 101 questions because there are loopholes in it. And how do you plug the loopholes? The third thing is that over the last 1 century, education and technology has always been at loggerheads with each other. All right. It has to be understood that without education, there can be no technology. But you cannot say that because there is technology, there is education. You see, technology is user neutral. And as I'll just say right now in the concluding remarks, and I'll also post what I have given in the initial thing to everyone, and Nitin can just disseminate that.
Absolutely.
You will see that we are in a critical juncture where we do not have the correct idea as to what is the direction we are going to take for policy making. How do we, should I say, bridge the gap between the realm of ideas and the domain of public policy making? Realm of ideas is intellectual, but the domain of public policy making is structural. It is related to norms, rules, regulation, constitution. That is why this particular session is so important, because as I'll say just now, and I'll go to that, I'm just going to put it on the screen also so that you can read it. I said it has been a privilege to participate in today's session. I thank the experts for their contribution and the organizers of the 21st Science Council of Asia conference. As a student of international relations and security studies, I wish to record that had the world at large, the policymakers and the researchers done adequately to operationalize a viable social construct of scientific and technological development, then the coercive use of technology and even the suspected weaponization of pathogens would not have occurred. The world would have been a much safer place to be in. What is happening in the most complex area in Western and Eastern Europe today is because there has been no development of social construct of the scientific and technological development, and you are using technology as a coercive force against the human being, which you are supposed to protect. If we do that, we would have been a much safer place to be in. And I once again thank the participants and the organizers to give me the opportunity to share my thoughts and to bring home this thing that each and every item in nature is interrelated. There is nothing which is not interrelated. Age is interrelated, existence is interrelated, security is interrelated, and security is not military security. If you do not know how to securitize the non-security dimensions, you are going to land up into a biggest problem the world has ever seen. That means you have to securitize ecology, environment, pollution, energy, and the rights of the unborn. I'm not even talking about the rights of the people who are born, I'm talking about the rights of the unborn. And that is where, when Professor Han was talking about the shark, I chose this particular topic just because of one reason, because it's an ecological factor.
Yes.
It's not merely a biological factor. It's an ecological factor.
Yes.
And the ecology, if you do not know how to protect, you are insecure anyway. What is fascinating is that there are species in biological world which lives up to 400 years and do not reproduce till 150 years.
Yes.
This is the first time I'm hearing this, in fact. And that is fascinating to know that nature has devised a way of longevity which is not known in terms of aging to the human being. Thank God that we have got only about 70 to 80 years to live. Had we lived 400 years, I don't know what would have happened to the world, in fact. So here I think I should conclude rather than going any further. Thank you once again. I thank the organizers of the conference. And Nitin, thank you very much for coming to my help, because I was only worried about that Bangalore is a hub, which is the most unpredictable hub. And I do not take any option of having a seminar between 11 and 2 as a matter of rule, because you do not know when it will turn off, But wonderful to see all of you. Professor Lee, Professor Han, thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts with us. And
thank you.
Young mathematicians. And the young mathematicians, I'm glad that they're taking part in social reasons and not mathematical deductions only, which is linear in origin. Absolutely. Thank you very much, kindly. Ethan?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. It was pleasure listening you.
Thank you.
And I extend my heartfelt
Thank you,
thanks
sir.
to all the presenters for presenting their research. I hope that these researches will significantly contribute in the related domains. I'm extremely thankful to Professor Sen for sparing time to chair the session and sharing his valuable thoughts and ideas. Thank you very much, sir. With this, we come to the end of morning session of the second day of the conference. I hope that it proved to be fruitful in terms of learning and added value to all of us. Once again, on behalf of Indian Council of Social Science Research, I thank all the presenters and participants. Now we have lunch break from 13 hours to 14 hours 30 minutes. See you in post-lunch session at 14:30 hours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you, sir. Fine, thank you. Okay.
Bye. ထွက်ပြီအားလုံးပြန်ကုန်ပြီတင်တယ် leave လိုက်တော့မယ်နော်ညနေ4 နာရီလောက်မှပြန်တွေ့ကြမယ်ဆို
साहिल ब्रेक स्लाइड डाल दो कॉन्फ्रेंस का
Yes, sir. Hello. Hello.
So you are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
सुनो ये बहुत लाइट सी पड़ रही है.
Hello, sir.
हेलो हेलो अदिति. अरे सुनो ये लाइट बहुत पड़ रहा है. So Aditi, you will tell us when we have to start.
Yes, sir. We can start sharp at 2 with your permission, sir.
Okay, okay. You will say something from ICSSR side, or I have to take over? Huh?
Sir, shall I introduce you and everyone and presenters, and then so you can take over.
Sure, sure. I think you can start after half a minute. Huh?
Okay, sir. Sir, with your due permission, should I start?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Namaskar and a very warm welcome to the 21st Science Council of Asia Conference. The theme of the present session is Frameworks, Approaches, Methods for Science, Technology and Social Science Studies. I am Dr. Aditi Bapte, Consultant Research Junior, and I take immense pleasure in
allow presenter number 4, Dr. Vikramji, to give his presentation first, because Dr. Vikramji requested the organizer to pre-pone his presentation due to scheduled Viva in his college. So I request again the presenter 4 to give us the first opportunity to present his presentation. make the announcement of the newspapers or whatever is
मैम बैकग्राउंड में आपके सिस्टम में
Sir,
कुछ चल
yes,
रहा है.
yes, yes, yes.
although you know it.
Some alternate hall is running.
So sorry, there was another window that was open. The theme of the present session is frameworks, approaches, methods for science, technology, and social science studies. I am Dr. Aditi Bapte, consultant, research junior, and I take immense pleasure in introducing our chair, Professor Ramesh Chand. Professor Ramesh Chand is currently Niti Aayog, currently a member in Niti Aayog, in the rank and status of a Union Minister of State. He has a PhD in agricultural economics from the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, IARI, New Delhi. He is a fellow of the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences and the Indian Society of Agricultural Economics. He has been involved in policy formulation for the agricultural sector for the past 2.5 decades. He has been, prior to joining the Niti Aayog, he was director, National Institute of Agricultural Economics and Policy Research, New Delhi. Professor Ramesh Chand is also a member of the Board of Trustees of CMMYT, Mexico, and Policy Advisory Council of the Australian Centre for International Agriculture. Professor Chand has authored several books and published more than 150 research papers in reputed national and international journals in different areas of agriculture as production, growth, development policy, farmers' issues, markets, and trade. So delighted to have you, sir, and all the presenters here. I now request Professor Chand to take over the session. Thank you. Sir, you are on mute right now, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Aditi, organizers of this conference, paper presenter, and my dear participants. I really feel very happy to chair this session on a topic which is of immense importance to all of us, to our society, and also to our economy and to our countries. I also admire Science Council of Asia for choosing very exciting themes for discussion during different sessions. We have 90 minutes. I will take 2-3 minutes to make some introductory remarks. After that, I will invite paper presenter, and I feel that each one of you can take 15 to 20 minutes to present your paper, and assuming that you will take about 16-17 minutes. So we will have 25 to 30 minutes at the end of the sessions for further discussion. Incidentally, I don't see many participants other than paper presenter, organizer, and myself attending the session. So I'm not sure how the discussion after presentation of papers will happen. So I begin by requesting all the paper presenters if you can put your videos on. I'm very keen to see your faces. You don't gonna meet and see each other frequently. So it is important. So other paper presenter also, if they are there, Dr. Myat and two others, if they can put their video on, that would be nice. But let me first sure whether all paper presenters are there. So some sort of attendance kind of things. So I find that Professor Olga Une, she's already there. Welcome you, Professor Une. Then next in the list is Dr. A.Somasundaram from Myanmar. Dr. Myat, are you connected? Are you present? I see your name. You are there. Okay, okay. Welcome, welcome. Then we have a third paper presenter, Professor Bandana Pandey. Professor Bandana Pandey.
Sir, she will join shortly. We are calling them.
Oh, she will be joining shortly. And the last paper presenter is Nimisha Shukla. Nimisha?
Yet to join, sir.
Oh, she is also yet to join. Anyway, I am very happy that in this conference, it is all women participation. Very good. I'm happy to see that participation of women in conferences on difficult subject is increasing. Rather, you are monopolizing this session. I don't feel jealous. I feel happy about it. So let me make some initial remarks related to this theme. Technology has made deep inroad into all human activities and interaction, whether we talk of economic activity, whether we talk of social activity or political activities. So you will find that the technology is making inroad everywhere. Secondly, the front line of technology are not stagnant. So you will just find that that frontier of technologies are touching new boundaries now and then, and those boundaries are really beyond imagination. For illustration, if I pick up any technology, initially mobile, it was only for communication. But later on, you find that camera also came in mobile. But later on, you just find that video also came there, then WhatsApp in mobile and Facebook, internet, so many things. And someone shared some video with me that next gen mobile will also have some feature of drone. You need not catch those. So they will be hanging in the air, and those kind of things are happening. So this is the kind of change which is happening in many areas. Mobile is just one example that they are touching new boundaries, and those boundaries are beyond imagination. The third aspect which I want to share with you is that before individual adapt, you just find that that systems are adopting these technologies, these newer and newer kind of technology, partly because there is some benefit, there is some gain, there is some efficiency, and partly also because in a market economy there is competition. Everybody want to be ahead of others. So system is adopting these technologies at a faster rate, newer and newer kind of technologies. So when system is adopting, individual is forced to adapt. System is adopting these technologies, so individual is required to adapt these technologies. And if you do not adapt, I will say either adapt or sink. You may find that one day it is not possible to draw money from the bank if you are not very friendly with the technology. Like 3 years back, when I traveled to Western country, I found there was nobody, no staff of airline on the counters. So they just wanted that I put my passport inside, punch my numbers and get my boarding card and put my tachi case on the weighing scale, etc. Only one lady, she was attending to all the 15 counters. So if I do not know how to do it, you will just find that I may be in serious trouble at the airport. So these are just some examples that when system adopt, individual had to adapt. Otherwise, individual will be put to very, very serious kind of difficulty. But when individuals start adapting to newer technologies, it has implications. It has serious implications. Not that all implications are positive. Some of those could be negative also. So when individual is to adapt to the technologies which are adopted by the system, then it becomes very important to understand the implication of that technology, that once it goes to the intended user, intended beneficiary, what kind of implication it will have. Will it cause very violent kind of disruption to the existing institutions? How it will influence behavior of the individual, their ability, how their mental kind of health will be affected. So all those kind of things then comes into a picture. So when we then start understanding these implications, we find that this is the way the positive aspect of technology can be maximized. These are some unintended consequences of technologies which need to be addressed. So then you will find that we will require some social policy, some kind of policies to regulate the technology, some kind of law for governing these technologies, some kind of ethical principles to lay down for use of this technology, and also new kind of infrastructure requirement. I often used to say that in all areas of policy, the most difficult area is social policy of technology and science. That is most difficult area because that is one area where very often you don't get any ready-made data. You have to think of a uncharted territory. You have to think of some unforeseen circumstances. Lot of imagination will be needed in that process, and also interdisciplinary knowledge. So this is how I understand this theme, and also the overall theme of this conference. And that also made me realize that paper presenter must have very difficult time. They must have, I would say, difficult experience in thinking of suitable topic for writing on the theme of this conference and this particular session. But taste of pudding lies in the eating. So let us see how the authors have prepared their presentation. So with these initial remarks about this conference and about this theme, I invite the paper presenter in the sequence in which I requested each one of you to put on your video. So first name in the list is of Professor Olga D. Une. She is professor at Department of Mathematics, College of Science, University of Eastern Philippines. The name of city is not mentioned here, Professor Une, so I can't tell you whether you are in Manila or you are in some other place. So Professor Une will be sharing her paper, the title of which is Students' Difficulty in Mathematics in the Modern World, Basis for Modular Construction. Though technology has made life for mathematics much easier, the present-day students don't have to remember tables. Whereas when I was a student, we had to memorize 20 to 20 tables. Yes. And not only table, even fraction table. 1.5, yes, 2.5, 3.5. But now you have calculator and all those kind of things. But with technology, expectation also enhances. So very good topic, mathematics, which is mother of all sciences. So I'm happy that you chose to speak on this. So floor is yours, Professor Une.
Let me say, share the screen. I am currently in the eastern part of the Philippines.
Okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
I hope you can see my presentation.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Dr. Ramesh Chand. Distinguished presenters, good afternoon. I am Engineer Olga D. Unay, and I am tasked to present our research titled Students' Difficulty in Mathematics in the Modern World, Basis for Modular Construction. University of Eastern Philippines is geographically located at the island of Samar. It is a 103-year-old university in the province of Northern Samar with 52-degree programs. Banner programs are agriculture, environmental science, literature, veterinary medicine, education, nursing, information technology, and civil engineering. Mathematics is one of the important subjects in the academy, even in human life. Mathematics plays a major role in a number of scientific fields such as biology, meteorology, engineering, physics, medical services, and many others. Yet the subject viewed to be tough to some. Freshman students could hardly get over the difficulty of mathematics in the modern world. Oftentimes, researchers or even experts wanted to figure out the different causes of difficulty in any subject, to be able to source out any solutions for ease of learning, specifically the new subject, mathematics in the modern world. Hence, this study tried to assess this difficulty in order to utilize the result as the basis to construct a module in the mathematics in the modern world intended for college freshmen. This study was conducted to assess the difficulty in learning mathematics in the modern world among college freshman students at the University of Eastern Philippines. Specifically, this study tried to assess the areas of difficulty in terms of content, determine the level of learning difficulties encountered by the college freshmen in terms of confidence, engagement, and usefulness, determine the extent of difficulty of teaching mathematics in the modern world, and assess the difficulty instructional strategies utilized by the teachers in terms of extent of usefulness and effectiveness. For the methodology, this study utilized the descriptive method of research to determine the areas of difficulty of the students in MMW. A survey questionnaire was used to gather the data. The questionnaire composed of two parts, one for the students and one for the faculty. The questionnaire was made and sent through Google form. Respondents were the college freshmen taking up G1 or MMW of the Department of Mathematics in the College of Science, University of Eastern Philippines, and the faculty members handling the subject during the school year 2019-2020. The level of difficulty was classified and interpreted using a 5-point Likert scale. For the results and discussion, the part of students, in the areas of difficulty in terms of course content, results showed that the level of difficulty of the topics of MMW, patterns and numbers, showed a weak level of difficulty. The rest of the areas of the course content have moderate level of difficulty. This indicates that there is a need to look into this topic in order to meet the difficulty of learning the subject on the part of the students. Topics such as operation on statements, inductive reasoning, inductive terms of sequence, and Polias 4-step problems were the top 5 among the contents of the course. Among the 5 core contents, operation on statements showed the highest difficulty. This implies that the students have difficulty in understanding logical statements and reasoning. In the level of learning difficulty in terms of confidence in mathematics, as reflected in the result, the level of learning difficulty in terms of confidence among students was high in in terms of developing their mathematics skills. Mathematics helps them develop their mind and teaches them to think. This learning difficulty is an important reaction among students. Even though mathematics is difficult, they are still eager and motivated to learn. The weak level of confidence showed the common reaction of any students taking math subjects. According to the study of Mollop et al., confidence level of students in learning certain courses is related to their understanding the courses, as well as their knowledge that goals can be achieved. If their understanding is good, their confidence level is high, and vice versa. In terms of the level of learning difficulties, in terms of engagement in mathematics, results showed that the students believe that mathematics is a very interesting subject. This implies that the students' level of engagement is learning the subject is high. Lowest engagement was mathematics is dull and boring. Humbert and Sugeta in 2016 stated that students' engagement matters in learning mathematics. Further stated that the more students participate, the more they will learn in all content areas of the subjects. The level of learning difficulties in terms of usefulness in math. Based on the result, the respondents answered moderate to high level of usefulness. This implies that students knew the importance of mathematics in the real world. It is said that all careers require a foundation of mathematics knowledge. More students must pursue an educational path that will prepare them for lifelong work as teachers, professors, mathematicians, statisticians, engineers, scientists, and the likes. And students know the importance of mathematics in the real world. For the results and discussion, the part of the faculty, and the extent of difficulty of teaching mathematics in the modern world, based on the result, the faculty believed that all indicators were needed in teaching MMW. The top 4 indicators were students' individual problems, students' learning style, students' individual preferences, and proficiency with computers. The extent of usefulness and effectiveness of instructional objectives, based on the result, modular, examination, assignments, and problem solvings, were the top 4 instructional objectives in terms of the extent of usefulness in teaching MMW. Chalk was a weak level of usefulness since this study was conducted during the pandemic. In terms, modular was the top because of the need in delivering flexible learning amidst pandemic. In terms of effectiveness, lecture and discussion were the top instructional objectives. The conclusion and recommendations. The result of this study came out the following conclusions. The level of difficulty in the core content areas of the subject have moderate level of difficulty. The level of learning difficulty in terms of confidence among students was high in terms of developing their mathematical skills, and mathematics helps them develop their mind and teaches them to think. The students' level of engagement in learning the subject is high. The level of difficulty in terms of usefulness in mathematics was found to be moderate, high level. The level of difficulty in teaching the subject, the faculty believe that all indicators were needed in teaching MMW. In terms of extent of usefulness, CHOP was the weak level of usefulness since this study was conducted during the pandemic. Modular was the top because of the need in delivering flexible learning amidst pandemic. And in terms of effectiveness, lecture and discussion were the top instructional objectives. And the recommendation, the faculty handling mathematics in the modern world should be guided by the result of this modular construction. The competencies, strategies, and difficulties have all seen significance in making MMW modules. Research in language utilization in teaching MMW is highly recommended since the students have difficulty in operations on statements. Thank you. And thank you,
Thank you. Thank
SAA,
you.
for this great opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Une. Let me see if I can. Can you remove your presentation?
What, sir?
Can you remove your presentation?
Okay. In what, sir? What topic, sir?
Okay, I will come to this. So thank you, Professor Une. There are some very important takeaways from your presentation. A few of those which convinced me most is that you talked of learning difficulty not only for students, but also for teachers. So
Yes,
it is very important that we should not have a partial approach, that we always address and discuss difficulty of students, and we do not pay attention to the difficulty that teachers may be facing. Therefore, developing right kind of module both for teacher and for students is very, very important.
Yes, sir.
I also understand, or maybe you also observed it, that role of quantitative is increasing in all frontier technology, not
Yes.
only in digital technology and engineering technology, even in biological sciences, role of quantitative is increasing, and mathematics is the base for development and advances in the quantitatives. So I feel that mathematics need to be taken more seriously. This is a basis for further development of all science and technology. But incidentally, there is some tendency among students in some societies not to take mathematics. But Asia has been, I would say, somewhat better than Western countries. You ask a Western country's young student, maybe he or she would prefer to play soccer, go for some kind of sports, rather than spending time on math. But many Asian students, they take math as a fun. So I read newspaper many a time coming from USA in the news, that so many prizes in mathematics are taken by Asian students. So thank you very much for choice of the topic for your presentation. I hope everyone.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.
Then next I come to Dr. A.Somasundaram. Madam Su is lecturer on curriculum and methodology department of Yangon University of Education, Myanmar. Dr. Su will be making presentation on concept attainment of grade 8 students in geometry by concept attainment models. Very technical subject. So floor is yours, Dr. Su.
Yes, sir. Let me share my screen. All participants, I'm Dr. Jisoon, a lecturer in Curriculum and Methodology Department at Yangon University, to present its concept attainment of grade students in geometry by concept attainment model. My presentation is divided into 8 main parts, and it will take about 15 minutes. Firstly, I'd like to introduce the main objective of this research. The main objective is to study the concept attainment of grade students in geometry by concept attainment model. To implement this main objective, 4 specific objectives were set out. Number 1, to compare the concept attainment in geometry in terms of mathematics achievement of grade students who were taught with learning activities based on concept attainment model and that of grade students who were not taught. Number 2, to compare the concept attainment in geometry in terms of mathematics process skills of grade students who were taught with learning activities based on concept attainment model and that of grade students who were not taught. Number 3, to present mathematics teachers' attitudes towards concept attainment model. Number 4, to make suggestions and recommendations for the improvement of mathematics teaching. There are 3 hypotheses for this research. Number 1, there is a significant difference between the concept attainment in terms of mathematics achievement of students who were not taught. Number 2, there is a significant difference between the concept attainment in terms of mathematics process skills of students who were taught with learning activities based on concept attainment model and that of students who were not taught. Number 3, teachers who taught the students through the concept attainment model have positive attitudes towards concept attainment model. This study was conducted in Bangalore region and Manly region of Myanmar schools in the 2017 and 2018 academic year. This study was confined to methodology of middle school mathematics teaching in Myanmar. It covers 5 chapters from the prescribed mathematics test for volume 2 geometry for grade 8. In this paper, 5 key terms are development and concept attainment model. Now, I'd like to present statement of the problem. In current methods, which stress mainly upon memorization, it means they teach directly the concepts, theorems, corollaries, postulates, facts, etc. Teaching concepts just for examination and test goals, but not for deep understanding is one of the main problems in current mathematics classroom. Now, I'd like to present significance of the research. Since concepts are the building blocks for mathematics subject, mathematics teachers should place great emphasis on teaching mathematics concepts. If students are taught through the process of concept attainment, they can learn faster, maintain for a long time, and transfer it to new situations. If students attain concepts, they can classify objects and ideas, and then they can derive rules and principles. This study will fulfill the needs of mathematics education in Myanmar and will meet the objectives of teaching mathematics. Now, I'd like to move on to review of related literature. This study was based on progressivism, cognitivism, and constructivism as philosophical background. Moreover, it based on Bruner's concept formation as theoretical background because concept formation is the first step towards concept attainment. To conduct this study, a new concept attainment model was proposed, which mainly based on telegenous cognitive cybernetic model, Glaser's basic diction model, reception concept attainment model, and selection concept attainment model. In 2000, National Council of Teachers of Mathematics process skills, namely problem-solving skill, reasoning and proof skill, communication skill. In proposed concept attainment model, there are 5 main steps: activities, assessing prerequisite skills, implementing concept attainment activities, testing attainment of the concept, and providing feedback or reflecting. Now, I'd like to present research method. In this study, both quantitative and qualitative research methods were used. Table 3 shows research. There was 607 credit students in this study. For this research design, one of the quasi experimental designs, namely the retest post-test use for learning activities, 70 learning were applied. Table 4 to present procedure for quantitative research method. Firstly, a pilot study was conducted, and then some modifications were made, and then full-scale study was administered. In full-scale study, the intent groups were used, and they were randomly assigned as experimental group and control group. Firstly, both groups were pre-tested, and then the experimental groups were given treatment with concept attainment model, but the control groups were not given. Finally, both groups were post-tested. For qualitative research, 3 teachers who taught took about 15 minutes. Firstly, their answers were audio tape recorded, and then they were transcribed based on the main things. For analysis of data, independent samples and one-way analysis of covariance. For qualitative data, the answers were firstly audio tape recorded, and then they were transcribed based on the main things. Now, I'd like to present research findings. Table 5 shows t-values for pretest scores. According to these results, there were significant differences as in pretest scores of the 2 groups in S1, S2, S3, and S4. Therefore, the posted scores were analyzed by one-way and cover. In S5 and S6, there were no significant differences as in pretest scores of the 2 groups. Therefore, the posted scores were analyzed by independent samples t-test. Table 6 shows t-values for mathematics achievement on posters of grade 8 students in S5 and S6. According to these results, there was significant achievement of the 2 groups in S5 and S6. Table 7 shows ANCOVA results for mathematics achievement on posters of grade 8 students in S1, S2, S3, and S4. Figure 5 shows comparison of mean scores of grade 8 students mathematics t-values for mathematics process skills on post-test scores of grade 8 students in S5. Table 9 shows t-values for mathematics skills on post-test scores of grade 8 students in S6. From table 10 to table 14, these 5 tables show and results for mathematics process skills on post-test of grade 8 students in S1, S2, S3, and S4. Specifically, table 10 for problem solving skill, table 11 for skill of reasoning and proof, table 12 for communication skill, findings from interview. According to interview results, the selected teacher for teaching of method, they analyzed the examples and they presented their ideas to teachers and to their friends. Through this model, students developed collaborative skills, self-confidence, inquiry skills, and mathematics process skills. They kindly suggested that Now I will present significant differences in mathematics achievement between the experimental groups and control groups of oscillator schools. For problem solving skill, significant difference was found between the two groups of S1, S3, S4, and S5. For communication skill, it was found between the two groups of S1, S3, S4, and S6. For connection skill, it was found between the two groups of S2, S3, S4, S5, and S6. For representation skill, it was found between the two groups of S1, S2, S3, and S4. For qualitative research findings, the teachers propounded that proposed concept attainment model was very suitable and value ethics. Now, I'd like to present discussion. According to research findings, significant differences were found on the achievement of mathematics process skills and on overall mathematics achievement. It shows that true attainment of mathematics concept makes students acquire mathematics process skills. In addition, results of qualitative studies supported the findings of quantitative study, which were consistent with the findings of all related studies. Now, I'd like to present suggestions and recommendations. According to research findings, it can be generalized that proposed concept attainment model had a great influence on concept attainment of students. Based on concept attainment model, mathematics teachers should prepare learning activities in accordance with students' level of understanding. In preparing such activities, mathematics teachers should consider various examples and non-examples for each concept. And further research should also be carried out for the rare states and regions for replication because this study was conducted in only 2 regions. Moreover, further research should also be carried out for large classrooms for mathematics for UM and by using taxonomy of instructional objectives to evaluate the effectiveness of the proposed model. Now, I'd like to conclude my presentation. The results of quantitative study and qualitative study supported its major hypothesis. Therefore, this proposed model can be useful to some extent for mathematics teaching. Students were attain mathematics concepts easily and happily through this model, and it would serve as a future reference for researchers in other subject areas. This is reference list for this paper. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Su. I'm impressed the way you organized your paper. You really followed a strict research methodology. You started with problem statement, then you put hypothesis, null hypothesis, and then review of literature, and of course, then estimation and conduct of experiment. And many people just feel that if there is a difference, that can be taken at face value, but you applied proper statistical test, the test of significance, to test whether the differences between the two groups were by chance, random, or they were systematic because of treatment. So I'm also happy that the concept which you have developed, it reduced difficulty in understanding mathematics, and this is what is needed to make math easy. Only one question, because sometimes your voice was getting interrupted. Maybe you spoke on it, I could not hear it. That is about what were those qualitative dimensions? I'm able to see and comprehend quantitative dimension. But what was that qualitative dimension which also improved through your tool? Can you share with us qualitative dimension?
Qualitative dimension.
Yeah, because in the conclusion you mentioned that both quantitative and qualitative data shows that there was improvement. So what were those qualitative aspects which were analyzed?
Yes. For qualitative study, I use interview questions towards proposed concept attainment model. And by asking some questions, the selected teachers answered that the proposed concept attainment model was very useful for teaching of mathematics, and students were very excited to analyze the examples and non-examples of the concept by using this model. There are mathematics process skills through this model. Based on the themes of their answers, I concluded that the qualitative research method found that the proposed concept attainment model had influence on concept attainment of students. So I concluded that.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Su. So from mathematics, we move to little more interesting area, that is area of media. We have now third presenter, Professor Vandana Pandey. Professor Pandey is working with Department of Mass Communication and Media Studies of Gautam Buddha University. This is located in a neighboring district of Uttar Pradesh, next to New Delhi and Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Dr. Pandey will speak on evaluation of science communication in social media, a content analysis of Facebook pages.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Floor is yours, Professor Pandey.
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And a very good afternoon to all. And I wish you all a very warm and a happy Holi in advance, who are from out of India and from other countries, because it's a very famous festival of India. And I'd like to
Thank you, ma'am.
I'd like to submit my heartiest gratitude to Indian Council of Social Sciences Research and Science Council of India, Asia Science Council of India, sorry. And my special gratitude to respected Ramesh Chand sir for giving me this golden opportunity. As we have some time limitation, so without taking much time, I would like to start my presentation with the title of my research topic, that is, which is already have been mentioned by Ramesh Chand sir, evaluation of science communication on social media, a content analysis of Facebook pages.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, can you put it in the full screen mode?
Full screen, please, full screen. Please do it on full screen. So, no, give me on. Okay, that is okay. It's okay, sir? It's okay?
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. I start my presentation with a famous quote by N. Roy. He stated that the nothing in science has any value if it is not communicated. Or I would like to mention some other famous saying in mass communication that we cannot not communicate. We can't exist if we are not communicating. We are not communicating properly. So both saying or both famous quote indicate the importance of communication and reference of science also. So in view of these facts, the researcher has selected their research area, and the basis for selecting Facebook as a research problem has also been placed on the high level popularity and acceptance of Facebook as a communication medium. So due to that, we have selected this topic, sir. I would like to describe the background of my study, that this science and technology are a vital components of human civilization, and we come into contact with them on a daily basis now. They are linked to societal change and have a direct impact on development and advancement. It is critical to communicate new scientific and technological discoveries for common people, to increase awareness of current realities and make them familiar to scientific technology. In a recent year, science communication has grown in popularity around the world. It is led by a diverse group of scientists, social scientists, and communication professionals who believe in the importance of communication of science and technology. Science communication is the process which is known to informing, teaching, raising, and create awareness of science-related topics and instilling awe in scientific discoveries and arguments. Now I would like to explain the conventional versus online science communications. Conventional science journalism has declined as a source of science news for the general public in recent years. Online settings have a crucial role in forming social bonds and disseminating knowledge. Adults that are interested in science prefer to acquire their knowledge from the internet rather than traditional media. In this digital environment and a digital era, a growing number of calls to action from both within and outside the field of scientific communication have emphasized the importance of scientists, communicators, and educators engaging with social media users about the science. Now, here's a question that why social media is important, and we have selected for our research problem. So, as we know, cyberspace provides new avenue for science communication that encourages active social learning as well as collaborative education. People have been taught about the value of science through the uses of social media. It is strongly recommended that the faculty and scientists, journalists, corporates, and even a common people integrate social network into their daily routine in order to improve their personal brand, improve their skills, increase their visibility, share and communicate science to society, promote scientific culture, and even as a teaching and a learning tool. Now we have to elaborate the Facebook in India. We are quite aware and know that on 26 September 2006, Facebook, founded by a 22-year-old Harvard University dropout, blinked to life in India. Facebook opened its first India office in 2010. 4 years after, it went online. It had managed to onboard 15 million Indians onto its platform by then. By 2012, Facebook had crossed 1 billion users and grown rapidly in India to 65 millions. In comparison to other social media platforms, Facebook has a higher number of users, that is 66% who get their news from the site. And as per Statista.com, 8 March 2022, there are nearly 239.65 million Facebook users in India alone, making it the leading country in terms of Facebook audience size. Millions of people see science-related information on their Facebook feeds or elsewhere on social media, but the kinds of science stories people most likely encounter are often practical tips with news you can use or promotions for programs and events rather than new development in the science, engineering, and technology world. The Facebook environment serves as an activity system for intellectual engagement on a variety of topics via private inbox conversation, forum discussion, and wall posting also. So there is a very popular theory which applies or which is very much which suits to the Facebook science communication on Facebook. That is the activity theory. It helps to explain how individuals or groups who participate in collaborative activities, contributing some postings, commenting on peers' views, engaging in collaborative discussion on Facebook's make up the subjects who work together to develop knowledge and relevant learning objects. Studies suggested that due to its simplicity of use and more intimate and personal character of the social network formed there, Facebook could be an ideal platform for scientists to communicate with the public. Therefore, a need exists to identify how these online platforms can present science news. The objectives of our research work is, or research paper is to investigate and analyze the Facebook pages on science communication. Next is to examine the frequency of posts on science on Facebook. And the third is to identify whether science communication Facebook pages are active or inactive. It is just a kind of formality, or are there kind of active participation or involvement are there. And the last but not least, to evaluate the dimensions of science news. These are a major objective area which we have tried to find out or elaborate it. The methodology for this research paper has been adopted. That is on the Facebook account, we researchers searched pages with keywords science and technology, science and innovation, science communication, and Scientist Group India, and Science News. These are some words which researcher searched the pages with these keywords. Through purposive sampling, researchers selected 3 most followed pages of science communication and 3 Facebook pages of the Government of India related to science. Our purpose is to analyze the content of the science on both group or both unit of the pages. So content analysis is the best suitable, as we claimed, media communicator or media researcher or media expert, they claimed that the content analysis is the best suitable method of media research. Due to that, we have selected for the content analysis. And it is a research techniques for making replicable and valid conferences from text or other meaningful matters to the context of their use. It has been mentioned by learned professor of the mass media, and researcher selected the 10 days for the analysis of the content analysis, 11 February 2022 to 20th February 2022, and explore all the 6 pages of the given 10 days and conducted the content analysis of the Facebook pages. The researcher used both quantitative and qualitative approach to analyze the Facebook pages. Researcher first categorized all posts in a different parameters, namely health and medicine, food and nutrition, and science and engineering, environment, science news, space or space related news, and there is another category that is a general, and last is the others. So these are some parameters which we have decided. These 4, yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, in the previous slide.
Yeah, please, sir.
Can you go to previous slide?
Yeah, please. Next. This, sir, or
previous.
Yes, sir. This, sir, justification of sample.
Yeah. So maybe I think it is not coming. Next.
Next, sir. Next. Next.
I think it is jumping. At one place you have written conference. In the first bullet, I think it should be inference.
It was inferences. Just a minute. Inference. Where is that? पीछे करो सर ने मेंशन किया है. Methodology, it's science communication. Next पे सर.
जो स्लाइड आप बिल्कुल दिखा रही थी उसी पे जाइए. जो स्लाइड आप
अच्छा सर.
Moving to next.
Next objectives के नीचे आइए. Methodology, no, it is not. Yeah, it is there, I think, sir.
ये first bullet में third row, I think valid conference need to be replaced by valid inferences.
Where is it, sir? Third row, sir. Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. Sorry, inferences, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry. Sorry, extremely sorry, sir. It's a valid okay. Inferences.
Even I can do that.
Sorry, sir. Extremely sorry, sir. Okay. Now we have sir found the most popular general Facebook pages are there, sir. There was an ISRO Science and Technology page, name is there. And it is a private group in this group page there, and created 8 years ago. And the admin is Radha Mohan, owner, operator, and founder. This next is a Science and Curiosity. It is also a public group and created 3 years ago. And the Science and Technology, it is also a group, a kind of a group people or a private group, and created 8 years ago. There is a government organization Facebook pages are there. That is an ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, and verified. It is verified by the, I think, 2 lakhs for the leave it. Now next is a Vigyan Prasar, sir. It is a verified pages, and people like this, and 13,917 people follow this, and DRDO verified page also there as a number of there. Now a general Facebook pages content table is there. A total of 239 posts were made with 829 comments are there. And next is a Science and Curiosity page. Name of the pages are Science and Curiosity. We have selected from the 11th February to 20th February. And next is a Science and Technology page. We have all analyzed date wise is there, and what are kind of message, photo, all this there. Then again the government run Facebook pages data are there. It is a Vigyan Prasar. It has also analyzed from 11th February to 20th February. Next is a ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. In 10 days only 4 posts were made. When we searched we selected these days there. So in 10 days only 4 posts were made there. Although there were so many posts are there, but in between 10 days, 11th to 20th February, only 4 posts were made there. But they received 3,207 comments on only 4 posts, sir. And 20,200 likes are there, and 2,443 shares are there. There were 2 posts on the 14th of February on ISRO pages, Facebook pages, and there was a both on 14th of February 2022, both related to science with 2,991 comments and 15,300 likes and 1,945 shares. It's a big involvement of the users. It shows the big involvement of the users on the DRDO page pages, sir. The researcher did not find a single post between 11 February to 20 February regarding the on DRDO Facebook pages, whereas there are posts on other days on DRDO Facebook page. Okay. Now this is the total number of pages are there. ISRO Science and Technologies is 239, highest is there. Next. Total number of comments are there. Again, ISRO is leading here with the 3,207 comments are available there. Total number of likes, again, there is an ISRO Science and Technology, and the highest is a ISRO, that is a 20,200, I think. So yes. It is what it is, 200. Total number of share, again ISRO's Facebook pages are a number of highest number of sharing is there. It shows the popularity and the interest of the user for the ISRO pages. Parameters we have already mentioned, sir, where that is that there are the health, medicine, food, nutrition, and all these things are there, which has been analyzed there. With images, because we believe that the one visuals is equivalent of 1,000 of words, so visuals carry too much importance on pages also. So with messages or without messages, those categories are there. ISRO Science are there, and a private group is there, and it is a highest number of with messages content are there, and without messages also there. Next is a number of videos. Again, ISRO Science and Technologies are there, and the highest, and but the without messages or visuals is very less is there. Now this is the comments we have collected and clicked there from to just for an example we have presented here. These are the basic thing I would like to mention here, sir. That is that these are the findings of our research, is that the majority of science-related Facebook pages concentrate their content on two areas, that particularly space and science news. Across this set of 6 pages, 4 aims to cover science across a range of scientific domains. Instead, one page is totally inactive and one page specializes on other topic that is not relevant to the science. I'd like to mention here that the space is the predominant topic on Facebook post. Next, science communication Facebook pages specialize on a science topic, basically health and medicine. There is a 4-page, engineering on 14 posts are there, environment 22, science includes behavioral and animal sciences 108 posts, and space with 116 posts are there. Some are there for a field from science, general topics, and other topics are there. That is the 23 and 21 posts are there. The result indicates that the people do engage in a conversation on science and its related fields, space, environment, health, and medicine, and engineering. The average number of user interactions per post, which is based on the total number of shares, comments, and likes or other reactions, is a common indication of audience engagement. In 10 days, there have been 308 posts with 6,073 comments and 36,904 likes and 4,090 shares, indicating high audience interaction. Frequency of post also very high, total 308 posts in 10 days by 6 Facebook pages. It means on an average 5 Facebook posts in every 10 days by 6 pages. Out of all the selected pages, 1 page is found inactive as there is not a single post on DRDO run by government organization. Between the time period of 11-20 February 2000. I would like to mention here that this result is only for the 10 days, but before there were so many posts related to the science. The researcher also consider advertisement as one of the characteristics, but does not separately, because it encompasses a variety of forms. As a result, the researcher divides it into 5 categories. First, webinar, conferences, admission, recruitment. Points were related with the science conferences or a science area. Admission related to the science institutions or organizations are there. 6 of the 24 advertisements are for webinar, which indicates the popularity and the information about science or academic or intellectual information about science. 5 are for conferences. Seminars are there. 4 are for admission, 8 are for recruiting, and 1 is for a business. No post found, that is very much important, regarding the food and nutrition sciences are there. Higher engagement is seen on post focused on visuals with little additional information. In today's social media landscape, imagery is crucial. The use of graphics in Facebook post is essential for increasing audience engagement. There are few posts, notably on government-run pages, indicating that they are less active than general science communication pages. In a 10 days analysis, there were 267 posting by 3 general Facebook accounts and only 41 posts by 3 government departments. All the 3 general Facebook pages are managed by men. That is very important. I would like to mention here that dominance of male persists in science communication related to Facebook pages reflects that female are less interested in technical fields, or a paucity of female science communicators could be a sign of a female viewership problem. Female science communicator could also opt out of creating materials. My conclusion is here. I would like to mention here that 3 government Facebook pages had only 41 updates in 10 days. 1 of which is completely inactive, despite the fact that it has 296,143 likes and 3,68,133 followers. Vigyan Prasar has the most posts. That is very much important, sir. They are doing very well on the Facebook. pages post with 37. And whereas ISRO has only 4 only, but the liking and sharing process are very high on the DRDO and ISRO. Their government Facebook pages devoted to science have millions of followers. Yet discussion on these pages is far lower, resulting in reduced audience engagement. ISRO, on the other hand, only post 2 times on 14 February, receiving 2,991 comments, 15,300 likes, and 1,945 shares. This is far more than the number of comments on ordinary public Facebook pages. It suggested that the people are considerably more interested in involvement on official pages, but that government websites are less communicative. The general public science communication Facebook pages are 7-year-old and average with the massive following of 182.7K members. The question that arises here is that does science communication pages managed by the general public provide factual information? As anybody, public group or any member, private group can post and share anything on these groups. Is it that they do not share any misleading information? This also requires some extension research. In India, Facebook user base is expected to reach 433.75 million by 2021 statistics. People around the world are interested in knowing science-related information, and there are various resources available in this digital world. But authentic sources are required so that people engaged in discussion get clear and factual information. Science communication Facebook pages managed by general public are different from those run by the government. They are less active and interactive. Government should manage their already running pages in a way that will provide more chances of interaction and discussion with common people. Science communication operations must be carried out and managed in a methodical, organized manner under one umbrella organization and in accordance with a clearly defined national strategy. Scientists and researchers in India should use online platforms likewise ways to enhance science and technology program and activities. Prominent scientists, including Stephen Hawking and Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson, have used social media to promote their work. Due to time constraint, researchers select small sample size. This is our limitations. I would like to mention or submit here that here researcher examined and analyzed the Facebook post of 10 days only. Hence, a lot ought to be explored to get better understanding of science coverage on Facebook pages. Future researcher must choose large sample size. There are some example of health and medicine which was posted on the Facebook pages about the science. These are some examples, sir. So these are our presentation. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandanaji, and your co-author. I would say very useful revelation, but it requires closer reading also. Why results are in a particular way. Is it that scientist participation in Facebook is not as prominent as expected because scientists prefer to communicate more on Instagram or something like that? I'm just making conjecture. So we need to look at those things. And also, main inference I draw from your presentation is that if we have to have some idea about what is likely impact on perception of society on a particular policy change, we used to see behavior of share market, how share market has taken. So similarly, I think these days, just to see what kind of thing is more popular, less popular, what is more current, one can just take help of data available with Facebook etc. So very, I would say, useful revelation. But I have taken copy of your presentation. Maybe after studying certain things.
I'm sorry, sir, for kind of mistakes was there.
Any one of us. It was.
Thank you, sir.
It was.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
There are many other things, but for paucity of time, I think I can't engage in discussion.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
So we now move to the fourth presenter, Professor Nimisha Shukla, Professor, Department of Rural Economics, Gujarat Vidyapeeth, Ahmedabad. Nimisha will speak on a unique model for application of study in science, technology and social science research, a case study of Gujarat Vidyapeeth. Nimisha ji. Nimisha ji, you are muted. Please unmute yourself. Still muted.
Now is it okay, sir?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, and my screen is it? Can you see the screen,
yes,
sir?
We can see.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Ma'am, can you put it in the full screen mode?
Full screen, sure.
Full slide mode.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Just a minute. Screen.
Ma'am, slideshow.
Slideshow. Yeah, that's right.
From the first slide.
From the beginning. Yeah. This computer takes time. It's not that.
No, it's okay. We are able to see it.
Okay, now is it okay? It will come.
Okay.
Very good afternoon from 41 degrees in Ahmedabad. I'm sorry once again. What's happening?
I think you do not play with it. Just go to next slide.
Okay, fine. That's right.
Escape
that's
from
right.
it.
It will come. It will come. It is a little bit slow. Yeah, that's right.
Just escape it and go to next slide.
Yeah, that's right. I'm really happy that I'm presenting this in front of none other than Professor Ramesh Chand, who is one of our leading agriculture economists of India, and also internationally, he is also very well known. We have been following his work because the department that I belong to is rural economics, and agriculture economics is one of our core areas. So I'm really happy to share or to present, although not on totally economics, but a paper on case study of Gujarat Vidyapeeth as a unique application of study in science, technology, and social science research. As the chronology I have seen in my on my paper is like this. The paper is divided into 4 parts, and the first section is the evaluation of economic thought. Since I'll not give too much time in this because there are other participants who are not very familiar with economics also, and Professor Chand, I'm too in that sense junior to Professor Chand to talk about the evaluation of economic thought, I should say. So more I'll concentrate on Gujarat Vidyapeeth and Gandhian holistic approach, and Vidyapeeth as how it has tried to integrate science, technology, and social science in the research, and one of our programs that portray the integration of all these. As you all know, Vidyapeeth is an institute founded by Gandhiji in 1920, and one of the objectives of Vidyapeeth is to nurture our our youth for rural reconstruction at a time of after time of independence, because Gandhi thought that the education that the English speaking was not according to the needs of the society, and that's why this institute was established. As we know, human evolution, if you see, it has been 4 stages, right from fruit gathering and hunting to industrial era, and now we can say information and technology era. Now this is the evolution that we are talking about, and we have seen that in the last 2 centuries, one of the problems that we have seen is not in the field of economics, but more in the field of environmental economics or ecological economics. And that's why, according to Gandhi, when we are talking about truth or scientific truth, and he used the word Sanatan truth, that is the Gujarati word, it is an integration of all. So it is not merely a reductionist thought, or the research is not only reductionist, but Gandhi always thought that we must think in all the, you cannot compartment your thought, it has to be integrated, and that integrated thought has come down to establishment of Vidyapit and the research in Vidyapit, I must say. Vidyapit is a model of evaluative research, where we try to encompass science, technology, as well as social science. And there are a number of experiments that Vidyapit is doing. And today I am talking about one of such experiment, and that is known, this is about the research, but one of the experiments that Vidyapit is involved since 2007, we call it Gram Jeevan Padyatra. Now, this is not in that sense a scientific, well scientific research, in the sense that you have a sample, random stratified selected sample, but this is an experiment that we are doing with the society, with a theme. Every year we are having a separate theme about what is happening in the society, and we try to go with our students. There will be not exactly a padyatra from Ahmedabad to the village, but we have a yatra where we spend 4 days, 5 days in different villages, interact with the villages and try to understand, because we know that we don't know much about rural society in that sense. So we try to interact with people and try to understand their issues from their perspective. There is not top-down approach, but bottom-up approach. That is what we have been doing these since 2007. Obviously, last 2 years, because of Corona, the Padyatra was not to be done. But this is what our experiment is. So from this experiment, we collect the data, we try to see, we try to observe what is happening in a rural society. We come back, we collect the data, we try to analyze the data, and from that, we try to find the solution that the villagers themselves have given us. And more importantly, the feasibility of that solution, because there are n number of things that the people will say, this should be done, this should be done, but what could have been done, what could be done is academic solution that we have to find with the help of agriculture, because obviously agriculture economics is one of our major thrust area. We have microbiology, so we encourage our microbiology students and teachers. Then there are other other institutes like Krishi Vigyan Kendra. There are 3 Krishi Vigyan Kendras in Vidyapit. So finally, we, from the knowledge or from the information that we get from Gram Jeevan Padyatra, we collect that knowledge, we analyze or classify that knowledge, analyze the difficulties, and try to find the solution from all the angles. So we encompass scientific, technological, and social perspective. And that is how Gujarat Vidyapit is trying to converge all the 3 sections of the academia and find the solutions for rural society. Basically, our thrust is for rural society. So this is one experiment, one unique experiment that we have been doing. And I thank the ICSSR for giving me this opportunity. I would like to answer the questions if there are any, especially from Professor Chan, because I would like to get more knowledge and information from him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nimisha. I look for some other opportunity to discuss Gujarat Vidyapit integrated model for education, science, and development. As far as this Padyatra is concerned, I undertake it every month. I come from a rural area and I visit my farm every month, and I see to it that there is some Padyatra at that place. Really a very unique and enriching experience when you go to the ground, see the problem firsthand, talk to the people who are the real stakeholders. So I'm really happy that this Gujarat Vidyapit is following this model. This is very, very important, not only in terms of problem identification, but also for finding appropriate solutions for the problem and for suggesting policy mechanism, not only for the policymaker, even for the scientist and researcher, that how you include those issues in your research. Be it research in social science, be it research in physical science, biological science. So incorporating or tailoring the research agenda to problem on the ground is really very, very important. So thank you very much for sharing this information with us. Many of us have heard about Gujarat Vidyapit, but not about this model which you are following, and I'm sure it will be of interest to other people also. So I do not know if we have some participants who would like to ask some question to the paper presenter. Please feel free. If somebody want to ask any question, you write in the chat box, or you can raise your hand or just start speaking. If not there, then any comment or any.
Sir, we have questions. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, there is one question to Professor Pandey. Does face any influence on Indian democracy?
What kind of influence? I am not able to understand, because there is no question of democracy. It's a platform of the freedom of expression. So it is a platform of expression. So everybody is free to write, but there is a guidelines and there is some rules and regulation. We should follow it. It is a part of the, definitely you can say it's a part of the democracy, but in a global era, we can say that it is a platform to express your views and your opinion, your message, your ideas, anything.
Maybe Bandhanaji has, because now information is quickly available. It is more freely available. It is available at a much faster rate. Like say earlier, if something was done against economically weaker person in some remote control of the country, I sitting in Delhi would not know. But if there is a Facebook and anybody from there put it, I'm going to look at it. So it will attract public attention. So with those kind of things, I think the questioner want to know that has it in some way affected our political institutions? Is it affecting the behavior of ruling class, opposition, political class, something like that? If you can just add something.
Sir, there is in some, I think, a question that how we have collected these 10 days. It is just for a convenience because we have some limitation to do the research work for this, particularly for this conference is that. So due to that, we have selected unintentionally 10 days, not, but it is unbiased selection of the days to just select 10 days. Or it's not a kind of the constructed days. It's a kind of the unconstructed days we have selected. So because we were trying to avoid any kind of biasness or any kind of special days if it is coming, because definitely there is a kind of special days, it affects the naturality of the pages also. If there is a kind of independent days or a science days, definitely the frequency of the post and the number of posts increase automatically, sir. So randomly we have decided to select the 10 days.
Any other question or comments?
Sir, can I raise a question?
Yes. Everybody is free to ask.
I have a question for Professor Olga Una. She did a study on the students' difficulty in mathematics. So I wanted to ask that, are you doing this on a general population, or are there students with learning disabilities like dyscalculia?
No, ma'am. We have not. We have done this all not in the for gender population, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I think there is. I don't see any other comment or.
Sir, there is a request that I would like to introduce my both scholar who have worked with me, sir. They are here. They want to
Yes. That way you can improve little bit gender imbalance also. Yes, Gaurav. I'm happy that there is one man in the list of paper writers. So I hope we will not become extinct in the next conference.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations to both Shalini and Gaurav Kumar, who are the co-author for this paper, for a wonderful piece of analysis.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It was a pleasure to listen to the researchers and the possibilities in the dynamic field of science, technology, and social studies. I thank all the presenters. It was a wonderful presentation from each one of you, and especially to our chair, Professor Chand, for his enriching words and humble presence. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aditi ji. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you from the Philippines.
Thank you to everyone. Olga, everything,
yes,
Nimisha, Vikram ji. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting all of you. Have a good day.
I will thank you.